Hello everyone, welcome back to the Your Tango channel. I am your spiritual guide Elfie, and today we are going to be going through our zodiac predictions for May 2023. I'm so excited to give you guys some predictions and tips. We have a lot going on, 2 different retrogrades, Jupiter transiting constellations, so much in store for us. Let's get started tuning our inner cosmos to the outer cosmos. Before we get started, I highly recommend checking out your sun, moon, and rising in this video. The star sign is just one aspect of your entire chart. The moon has just as much importance, rising just as much importance. And for my more advanced astrologers, definitely check out your Mercury, Venus, and Mars as well to get the full, most personalized horoscope possible. If you don't know either your moon sign or your rising sign and you really want to find out, there are a ton of free online calculators to help you determine this information. What's really important is that you have your date of birth, your location, as well as the time you were born to get that precise information and your full chart. Now, if you don't have the time you were born, no worries. You just won't be able to access your rising sign, but you will still have access to your sun and moon sign and get plenty of information to understand what is going to be ahead of you in May 2023. So please check out the timestamps below to find which sign is going to be discussed. If you are rising Virgo, definitely check that out. A sun Libra, check that out as well, etc. So let's get started with our first sign of the zodiac, Aries. So Aries, May means we are entering into Taurus season. So Taurus is a fixed earth sign, which means it is a bit stubborn, a bit loyal in that fixed energy. It is rooted and grounded. We have a feminine energy, which means it is a receptive sign versus masculine, which is an assertive energy. So we have a feminine receptive energy, and Taurus is the sign of the senses, of connecting to your experience in the physical realm. Taurus is the type that shows up and sticks around, and we are going to be really utilizing that energy in this upcoming Taurus season. So already with May 1st, we have a lot going on. May 1st is when Mercury and the Sun are going to be conjunct in Taurus, as well as the Mercury retrograde. So what does this all mean? When 2 planets are in the same place as each other, that means they conjunct each other. Their energies are pretty much over the same degree, and this is strengthening, if not overpowering, these forces elementally in our experience in the universe. So we have 2 Tauruses together, which, like we said before, there's a lot of that receptive energy, a lot of really tuning into our senses, really connecting to the physical realm. And also that Mercury retrograde throws a bit of a wrench in this. So where things might be normally straightforward, they're not necessarily what they seem. And now for Aries, all of this is going to be occurring in your 2nd house, which is of finances and wealth. So Taurus does rule the 2nd house. So this is a very good alignment. We have things that we have been working on for a long time are about to really pay off. We are about to reap the rewards of seeds that were planted a long time ago. Fruits are about to blossom. However, this is not the time to be checking and kind of rushing things before they happen. We really have to let them unfold, especially when we have this retrograde energy happening. We do not want to get too hasty. We do not want to move too quickly, because during retrograde, things are not what they may seem. We have perhaps miscommunications, we have perhaps misalignments going on, and we need to tread very carefully of those, especially because this is in the 2nd house of our finances. So we have a lot of stuff that has been planted, and we are waiting to reap these rewards. Just really let them come to you. Stick with that Taurus energy, show up and stick around, and you will be rewarded for all of your efforts. So Aries, we have a lot of intense energy going on right off the bat on May 1st in our 2nd house. And to just throw another ingredient in this recipe, we have a Pluto retrograde also happening on May 1st, and this can last a few months. So this Pluto retrograde is going to be happening in Aquarius, which is going to be in your 11th house. So what does a Pluto retrograde mean? So we know that a retrograde means, from Earth's perspective, a planet appears to be moving backwards in its orbit. Despite this being an illusion, it still has an astrological effect on us. Now, Pluto is the planet of death, transformation, rebirth, overcoming, expanding, past, the snake shedding its skin. It is extremely difficult and a perhaps misunderstood planet, but it leads to the phoenix rising from its own ashes. So, unlike most other planets with retrograde, Pluto actually brings a lot of positive effects during its retrograde. So we're going to see a lot of transformations for the better that don't necessarily have that darkness to it that we have to overcome to get through. These transformations are going to be a little more seamlessly integrated into our lives, especially because this Pluto retrograde is going to be happening in your 11th house, which is the house of community, of relationships on that public scale. So really getting in tune with your community. Maybe there are new ways that you are about to branch out that you did not expect before. Maybe you have felt a little disconnected, or maybe even there is a way you need to evolve the way people see you and that the way your community receives you. This is a great opportunity, especially because we have the Sun and the Mercury conjunct in your your second house. With that Pluto in the 11th house, there can perhaps be a financial transition within your community for yourself, where you are leveling up, you are being seen on a whole new level than what was before. So this Pluto retrograde in the 11th house, you're gonna definitely want to get outside, get outdoors, get active in your community, and something is going to erupt, something is going to change. You don't really have to force it with Pluto. Pluto is gonna bring that energy to you. You just have to show up. So I highly recommend, if you want to take advantage of this transformation that could potentially change your life, go out into your community, whether that means if you like music, going to different shows, if you want to take up new hobbies, even just doing some charity work, whatever it is, however you feel comfortable tapping into your community, do it. But be prepared to leave that comfort zone once you have put yourself out there. And it is going to lead to the better. We have that conjunction in the second house, which is financial gain in the long run in the sign of Taurus. So May 1st already has really exciting new prospects for us. And by May 2nd, we have an opposition to the moon in Libra. So May 2nd, moon enters Libra. Aries is opposite Libra. So to get into that a little bit, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It is about the self. It is about being the pioneer, being a leader, doing what no one else has done before, and you don't need anybody by your side to do it. You are fully comfortable and fully capable of putting yourself out there. Libra is the opposite sign. It is the sign of partnership. It is the sign of collaboration. It is the sign of balancing other people. So the moon being in that opposition, there is going to be a very intense strength where opposites can attract. So we have a direct line of energy of oppositions. Now, this could be for good or for worse, depending on the way you are able to transmute this energy. And May 2nd, that is one day after our Pluto retrograde begins and our Sun and Mercury conjunction in Taurus. So the beginning of May has a lot of powerful energy. If you feel a lot of kinetic energy in yourself and you don't know what to do with it, I would highly recommend some sort of physical energy for you, Aries. Get that energy out, go for a run, go to the gym, go swimming, whatever you need to do, have a dance party, do something to release that energy, because you're gonna almost have static at your fingertips. It is going to be so intense for you during that time. by May 5th, we have a lunar eclipse. Look, May is insane already, okay? By May 5th, we have a lunar eclipse in Scorpio, and this is going to be happening in your 8th house. So our lunar eclipse really prepare for a whole new sense of alignment. Everything is being turned upside down by the time May gets here. So I would recommend, doing the work you need to prepare for all of these transits to occur. Especially this lunar eclipse is going to be in your 8th house, which is all about the subconscious, which is all about the hidden natures of humanity. You may find yourself receiving information that you didn't really want, but it is the truth. It is that difficult truth that not many people can deal with, yet here you are dealing with it. On top of a Pluto retrograde, on top of a Mercury retrograde, we have a lunar eclipse in your 8th house in Scorpio. So there is going to be a sense of regeneration during that first week of May. Do not lose hope. Do not lose faith. Find a way to release all of this intense energy. I would definitely recommend doing some journaling on May 5th. Please do a ritual to harness that energy because it is so powerful. You're going to want to also release it, but also tap back in, right? Make sure that inner cosmos is aligned with that outer cosmos and you are pulling in as much momentum while you go forward in your life. Then from May 5th, we are going to, I would say that next week, you're going to really be focusing on those types of energies until May 15th when the moon enters Aries. So that is our home sign of Aries, and the moon is going to be right in your emotional state. So not only did you have all of these upheavals, all of these transformations right off the bat with May, by mid-May, we are going to really come back full circle into an alignment into our own personal subconscious. We had a lot of changes out in the world, and now here we are back in alignment with ourselves. So May 15th, when that moon enters Aries, definitely do some journaling, definitely do some checking in with yourself. Make sure that, especially Aries, that sign of self, you really need to have a little level of self-centeredness to be able to maintain your energy. You don't want to burn yourself out. So the mid-May is a good time to really kind of check back in with yourself. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Have you really reflected and internalized these transformations at the beginning of May? Or have they kind of steamrolled over you and you just keep going and going and going? And the thing with Aries, I know you love to go, you love to find that next thrill, that next thing that's going to exhilarate you. But sometimes the most exhilarating experience is to just silence and to really just receive from the universe. And May 15th, that full moon, that is what it is asking for you to do, is to really use that fire energy and come within yourself. So recharge your crystals. Make sure you have maybe a sort of ceremony for the moon to celebrate yourself and celebrate everything you have been through this far, because those first 2 weeks of May are going to be insane and you deserve that good checkpoint for yourself. So we talked about the full moon entering Aries on May 15th, but I just want to do a quick mention that on May 14th, Mercury goes direct. It is no longer in retrograde. So, we are out of the retrograde season, but by May 16th, Jupiter is joining the Sun and Mercury in Taurus. So Jupiter transits once every 12 years into a new constellation. So this is a pretty big deal. Jupiter is finally entering Taurus, also in your second house. So we have a very powerful alignment going on in your second house. We have 3 planets, the Sun, which is the center of the universe. We have Mercury, which is the planet of the mind and intellect, and Jupiter, the planet of good luck and good fortune, all aligned in your house of finances, the second house. So this is where we are ready to maybe start new business ventures, where we were really just sticking with the plan before during retrograde, waiting for those seeds to flourish into fruit. We finally perhaps have fruit, or we are finally ready to start making those strategic moves to get that fruit and multiply it. So there is a lot of good luck. There is a lot of really good things happening in your finances. So some ways you can take advantage of this alignment in your second house is really go through your finances. If you need to re-budget yourself, if you need to just take a new level of action and a new level of ownership that you are about to receive as well. So I would say definitely we have that moon in Aries happening just the day before. That would be a good time to have a ritual to bless yourself with this good fortune that Jupiter is about to bring you, to really manifest that into your existence, because all these planets are aligned for you to bring it to the surface. We have Mercury, we have the Sun, and we have Jupiter all aligned for you to take that financial situation to the next level. I'm super excited for you. And then we have one more moon opposition to Libra. The Libra moon makes 2 appearances during May, on May 2nd and also May 29th. So just take a look out for May 29th. Let's say you might be having some difficulties. The moon is in your opposition. So don't do anything too brash. Don't do anything too impulsive. Just let your emotions flow and remember that that full moon is in effect and in opposition. Then we have May 20th, where Mars enters Leo. So that is going to be happening in your 5th house. The 5th house is the house of creativity, of connecting with children, of just getting into that childlike joy and really connecting to your flow state. So Mars is the planet of physical and sexual energy. This is all happening in your 5th house. So because 5th house is the sign of creativity, children are the ultimate creation. So that is kind of why that falls into that house. If you have a partner and you guys are trying for kids or anything like this, this would be an excellent time. This is all aligned for you to really create life. Whether that means a project, a child, who knows? There is just endless possibilities for your physical energy to connect to your creativity and flourish. So that is it for our Aries predictions for May. Please drop a comment below. Let me know how you're going to be preparing for these retrogrades, how you're going to be preparing for all of these blessings in your second house of finances, and what are you going to be creating at the end of the month when Mars enters your 5th house of creativity. I'm so excited to hear, and honestly, these are really great placements. This is a very special time. Definitely take advantage of all of this energy. And definitely check out these other signs if you know what your moon and your rising sign are. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hello, Taurus. Welcome to your prediction for May. This month is all about you, and we have a ton of Taurus energy all aligned. So right away, Taurus, by May 1st, we have a conjunct between the Sun and the Mercury in Taurus. However, the Mercury is in retrograde, so there is a lot of energies going on. What the elf does all of this mean? Well, when 2 planets are conjunct, it means that they are at the same place as each other, and their energies are intensified and strengthened, and they are feeding off one of the other. So we have the Sun in the same place as Mercury. Mercury is also in retrograde, which means that Mercury appears to be moving backwards in its orbit from the Earth's perspective. However, this is an illusion due to the difference in speeds between Earth and Mercury. All right, Taurus, so all of these transits are going to be happening in your 1st house of self. So this is amplifying the way we connect to ourselves. This is a moment where we can stop and think, is there any possible way we are not being totally honest with ourselves? Is there any possible way that we could do some shadow work at this time to really reach that next evolution of ourselves? And now, May 1st, not only do we have all of those conjunctions going on in our star sign of Taurus, we also have Pluto that is going to be going into retrograde in your 10th house. Now, Pluto is the planet of death and transformation and evolution, and the 10th house is all about career and public standing. Now, typically when a planet goes into retrograde, there are some miscommunications, some difficulties. However, because Pluto is a planet of destructive nature naturally, we actually have during its retrograde a little more positive aspects. So there could be huge transformations going on in your 10th house of career and public standing. This is an excellent time to try to branch out, to try to evolve your personality and your persona in that public sphere. That could be your career. That could be whatever you are most passionate about while connecting with the world. Now, this is all happening while that first house is super powerful as well. So we have an ability to transform that inner self as well as transforming that public self. This is a very rare and very exciting moment for Taurus. Now, just a heads up that Mercury retrograde is going to end on the 14th, and things are going to be going direct from there. Now, May 5th, we have a lunar eclipse in Scorpio, which is opposite Taurus. So what the elf does that mean? Well, this lunar eclipse is going to be happening in our 7th house of relationships, of love, of partnerships specifically. So there could be some radical transformations going on in that placement. So there could be some radical transformations happening in that house where things are getting shaken up in our relationships. We are reaching new levels of territory of relating to each other, new levels of vulnerability, and we are uncovering a deep-seated truth that always really needed to be there. Now, Taurus is a sign of getting your senses in tune with the material realm. Scorpio is the opposite sign. It is using those senses to go deeply into the collective unconscious and seeing everything between the lines. So Taurus, this is all going to be happening in your 7th house, once again, of partnerships. Now, because all this is going to be happening during Mercury retrograde, I would not recommend making any brash decisions about this new information that is going to be revealed during this lunar eclipse on May 5th. Take this information in and sit on it for a while. Stay with it, contemplate on it, wait until that Mercury retrograde ends on the 14th to make final decisions about this information. And you would be surprised on how much you can digest and how much you can grow from that information in just 10 days to reach a better conclusion and a better experience for both you and whoever that partnership is. Now, if you are not in a partnership, this can mean that you meet someone new out of the blue with insane types of chemistry. Now, those opposites, right, that Scorpio and that Taurus opposition means opposites attract. Now, you're going to have wild magnetic energy in the air around May 5th. May 7th, Venus is going to enter Cancer in your 3rd house. So Cancer is the sign of connecting to others. Cancer is a water sign. It is very intuitive. It is a mothering, it is a nurturing energy. Now, this is someone who really is empathetic towards others, that type of Cancer energy. And now Venus is going to be entering that energy, entering that intuitive connection with others. This is going to be happening in your 3rd house, which is the house of communications and house of friends in that personal friend group. So you're going to be finding maybe new levels of vulnerability with those around you and new ways of nurturing those people. Or perhaps they might come and nurture you. I would say just be really welcoming and really open to these new levels of intimacy that can occur with this Venus entering Cancer. Now, May 9th, the Sun in Taurus is going to conjunct Uranus in Taurus. So Uranus is the planet of originality, of invention, and it being conjunct your Sun in Taurus, this is a great time to think outside of the box, to really incorporate some new ideas. Maybe you've had them in the past, but you've been a little too scared to really bring them to the surface, to bring them to the light to other people. I highly recommend doing it. This is all a perfect aligned time for this to happen. Then we have May 14th, where the retrograde ends and Mercury in Taurus goes direct. And then very quickly after, we have May 16th, where Jupiter is entering Taurus as well. And that's going to be in your 1st house. So this is insane. We have Sun in Taurus, Mercury in Taurus. We have Uranus in Taurus, as well as Jupiter in Taurus. Wow. This month is for you guys. So this is all happening in your first house of self, all right? So we have a lot of good fortune here. We have a lot of out-of-the-box thinking, originality that is about to take place and erupt. People are going to see a side of you they have never seen before, maybe a side of you had never seen before. Embrace the change. It is all in good nature. It is all in good luck. And there is definitely a level of thinking it through as well. There's a logic to it. It is not necessarily just all based in emotional intuition. The Mercury is aligned here. Mercury has gone direct, no longer in retrograde. You have a logical way to communicate these changes. Really be confident in that throat chakra and communicating these energies and using that sun sign to wear it for the world to see. So May 16th, like I was saying, we have all of those planets in Taurus, Uranus, Jupiter, Mercury, and the sun. Well, on May 17th, add the moon to it. The moon is going to be entering Taurus, and on May 19th, we actually have a new moon in Taurus. We have a stellium, folks, occurring in Taurus just for you. This is a heightened energy. Now our emotions are aligned. Now our intuition is involved. Now we are just fully channeling all of this Taurus energy. Really ground yourself into that. Pull all of those experiences through your senses and dedicate them to something, whether it's building a new skill, building a relationship with someone else, building something. This Taurus is here to experience the material world, to be a part of this, to take that Venus energy, because Venus rules Taurus, take that love and beauty of Venus and incorporate it into the material realm. This month is for you, Taurus. Please use it. This is like a once in a lifetime alignment here. And then finally on May 20th, Mars is going to enter Leo, which is going to be in your 4th house of the home. So Mars, it rules your physical and sexual energy. Leo is a sign of creativity. It is a fire sign. And this is all happening in your 4th house of the home. So this could mean that perhaps some redecorating, some really revamping your space and making it a little more about you, a little more how you want it to look, and reflecting that inner world in the outer world. I would say definitely some feng shui going on, and just really have a lot of fun. Leo is all about fun. Leo is all about being free-spirited and tapping into that childlike joy. While we have all of these other planets aligned in Taurus, we might as well have a little fun with it in that 4th house. So that is our forecast for Taurus. Let me know what you think, and please let me know your plans. Every single Taurus better have plans for this month, because like I said, this is a once in a lifetime alignment. We have a stellium happening in Taurus, which means there are 4 or more planets in one sign. This is incredible. You guys, please, please, please make sure you have a plan for this month. Do not let it pass you. Thank you guys so much for checking out your prediction, and make sure you check out your rising, your moon, or other signs to get the most personalized prediction possible. Thank you, Taurus. Hello, Gemini. Welcome to your Zodiac prediction for May of 2023. We have a lot of exciting things right off the bat. May 1st, we have Mercury conjunct the Sun in Taurus during a Mercury retrograde. What the elf does any of that mean? Well, we have conjunct. When 2 planets make a conjunction, it means that they are at the same degree as each other, so they are really intensifying those energies. We have the Sun and Mercury both in Taurus, which is a feminine, receptive sign. It is also fixed, which means a little stubborn, and these planets are conjunct in your 12th house. The 12th house is all about self-undoing. The 12th house is all about a spiritual path, really going within yourself and disconnecting from the material realm, which is very interesting because Taurus is all about jumping into the material realm. So you might find that while you're going through your physical reality, you might have a lot of transcendent experiences out of nowhere that you were not expecting. And maybe you're just having regular experiences that are completely mundane, like you do every day, but suddenly you are seeing them a little differently. You are feeling them a little differently. You are seeing deeper into these experiences, that they are not just mundane, that there is something very spiritual and very profound in every moment. And Gemini, you can move so fast. Your mind is in two different places at once. Sometimes these profound truths kind of just aren't on your radar because you are just focused on 1,000 things at once. But that Taurus energy is asking you to ground yourself within these profound truths, because all of this time is going to be undoing the self. And things are not going to be what they seem. It is okay to be in this illusionary period. It is going to lead to a deeper connection to yourself. So May 1st, we also have Pluto going into retrograde in your 9th house. Pluto is the planet of death and transformation, and the 9th house is the house of a spiritual education, of a higher wisdom, at least the pursuit of it. So we are going to see that a lot of these connections to a deeper spiritual realm are going to be revealed. Our thoughts, the way we thought we saw the world, is going to be completely overturned, because we have that Sun and Mercury conjunction in the 12th house, which is going to do a lot of self-undoing, as well as a Pluto in retrograde in the 9th house of our spiritual horizons. We have a lot of spiritual awakenings awaiting Gemini in this month. Please be prepared. Please, I know, Gemini, it is so hard to stop that racing mind. It is so hard to have 2 feet on the ground when you have yourself in about 6 or 7 different worlds at all times. But all of this is going to ask for a moment of silence to really receive information on a different plane. And I'm telling you, it is going to inform you to another level. You're going to be able to be busy in the way like you never have before without a level of anxiety. We're going to be really grounding ourselves during this period and moving forward with, Gemini is always going to have a flighty nature, but we are going to just have a little more sense of sureness about our place in the world. So please take advantage of this alignment. Make sure you do your journaling. Make sure you do your reflections. I highly recommend meditating on May 1st and just letting all of this information from the universe be received by you, and just download all of that information. May 5th, we're going to have a lunar eclipse in Scorpio in your 6th house. So the 6th house is all about your routines, that daily work, putting in those hours to keep that consistent grind going. So once again, Gemini, this is another just placement that is just disrupting how we thought we saw the world. We are just being asked to come to kind of a standstill in our routines, in the way we view ourselves, in the way we view our spiritual wisdom. Everything is being shaken up at this time because we have a lunar eclipse in that 6th house that is going to be transforming our routines. We have that Pluto retrograde in the 9th house, which is going to be overturning our spiritual ideas, as well as that Mercury conjunct the Sun, also retrograded in your 12th house of self-undoing. There is just a lot of energies from our mundane routine life to our higher education to our spiritual self. This is all being shooken up all at once. So this is going to be a very intense time, Gemini. You may feel like you have lost a sense of self at this time. You may have even lost a sense of connection to your routine. All of these things need to be shaken up for the better. Please trust yourself during all these transitions, and in those moments of anxiety, take a moment to just connect to that silence. Be silent so you can download as much information as possible. One of the most beautiful things about Gemini is their ability to take in information. It is the sign of information, of communication. So the most powerful moment a Gemini can have is reaching that silence and their ability to download messages from the universe. So I highly recommend taking advantage of this. Those first couple weeks of May will be difficult, but all for the better. May 7th, Venus is going to enter Cancer in your 2nd house. So the 2nd house is all about your finances and possessions. So Venus in Cancer entering your 2nd house, you may need to be handling these situations with a lot more care and a lot more delicately than you had previously. Because Cancer is all about mothering, all about nurturing, and Venus is all about love and relationships, there needs to be some sort of delicate interactions that are occurring around your finances. So that is what I would recommend. Tread lightly during this time. Then we have May 20th. Mars enters Leo in your 3rd house. So Mars rules physical energy, Leo rules creativity, and all of this is going to be happening in your 3rd house, which rules your friendships. So we have a lot of fun that could be happening. You may suddenly have a lot of energy to go to parties, to go out and live life in a way that you haven't for a while. You've been all over the place, maybe working a lot. Well, now is the time to let your hair down and have some fun, Gemini. Gemini, that concludes our forecast for the month of May. Very exciting times. This is, in conclusion, just a time to really check back in with that spiritual self. So don't forget to take that moment to breathe so you can download as much information from the source as possible. Drop some comments below. What types of manifestations would you like to put forward? What types of affirmations do you want the universe to hear? Let us know, and don't forget to check out the other signs to get the most accurate and personalized reading as possible. Thanks, Gemini. Hello, Cancer. Welcome to your Zodiac prediction for May 2023. Let's get right into it because May 1st is already going to be crazy. We have Mercury in retrograde, which means that planet appears to be moving backwards in its orbit from Earth's perspective, and Mercury retrograde is conjunct the Sun in Taurus, which means that those two planets are at the same degree as each other. So this is going to be amplifying this energy, really growing it to a next level. So this retrograde can be a little more difficult than other ones because it is conjunct that Sun. So this is all going to be happening in your 11th house, which rules community. So I would say, Cancer, because this is ruling your community, I would definitely tread lightly with the way you are operating in those public spaces. Now may be the time to retreat back into the home, really come back into that level of a hermit phase, because Cancer does rule the home itself as a sign. It is also ruled by the moon. It is so good to check in with that subconscious, to check in with that emotional well-being. Because of that retrograde in your 11th house, now may not be the time to be making decisions, to be really going out and so active. It is always good to pull away every now and then to re-emerge a more powerful and transformed person. And that also leads me into the Pluto in retrograde, which is also going to be happening May 1st, and that's going to be happening in your 8th house. So that right there alone is going to be a huge transformation. The 8th house is all about the unconscious and that collective unconscious, really seeing into those deep truths that are not normally present to the average eye. This is all going to be a deep awakening right at the top of the month for you, Cancer. So I would recommend going internal, definitely doing some journaling, definitely doing some self-care. May 1st, perfect evening would be to take a bath and make sure you tap in with the ultimate mother, which is Mother Earth. Because May 5th, we're going to be having a lunar eclipse in Scorpio just a few days later. Now, Scorpio is a sister water sign, so we have an intuitive connection to this already. We are going to want to take full advantage of that. It's happening in your 5th house of creativity. So if we use kind of that first few days of the month to go internal, by May 5th, we're going to have a lot of creative energy to use. You can use this to channel whatever you like. If you like to bake, if you like to garden, if you want to go out, live life. Because you can also be a creative personality around people you love, making people laugh, enjoying and experiencing life. May 7th, we have a lovely time for Cancer because Venus is going to enter Cancer. This is going to happen in your 1st house. Venus is the planet of love and relationships. And Cancer, Cancer loves relationships. Cancer is all about being watery and empathetic with other people. Now, if we just look at those 3 water signs really quick, Cancer is that empathy. Scorpio is seeing into those hidden truths. And Pisces is tapping into the hidden inner self all together. So Venus of love and relationships being in the sign of Cancer is a beautiful time. In your first house, this is a time to show that love and compassion to yourself. So I would definitely just extend that self-care to the all month. Really take that time, value yourself. When it is your turn to speak with love for yourself. Speak with presence and care. So May 7th, Venus enters Cancer in your first house, and it's going to last there for about 20 days. And on May 8th, we're going to have a moon in opposition in Capricorn. So while we are feeling that self-love, don't be afraid when challenges arise. This is an opportunity for you to stay true to yourself and perhaps even use this opposite energy to your benefit. Because remember, opposites attract, and you can transmute that energy. A complete polar opposition has a direct line of energy. You just have to figure out how to transmute that. But it is very agreeable at the end of the day. It is just up to you to transmute it. Halfway in the month, we have May 16th. Now that Jupiter has entered the 11th house, this is all the good luck you need for you to go back out into those public spheres. Retrograde ended on the 14th. It is all aligned for you to reveal this new and self-improved self. And then on May 20th, Mars is going to enter Leo. That's going to happen in your second house of finances. So Leo is about creativity. It is a fire sign. Definitely tap into that energy in your career, into the way maybe you need to rebudget and find a more creative way you can stick to that plan. Maybe there are just some sort of outdated methods that you can update and really activate yourself on a whole new level. Thank you, Cancer, so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed your zodiac prediction. Please leave a comment below about your self-care rituals this month. I would love to share them and see them. And make sure to check out your other rising and moon sign. Thank you so much. See you next time. Leos, how are we? This is your zodiac prediction for May 2023. May 1st, right off the top, we have Mercury conjunct the Sun in your 10th house. This is all going to be happening in the sign of Taurus. Taurus is a feminine sign, which means it is receptive. Masculine is an assertive energy, but here we are. Taurus is a receiving energy. It is all about receiving through the senses the material realm. Taurus is ruled by Venus, the planet of love and beauty, and that is a core foundation in the way Taurus absorbs information. So we can really channel that energy in our 10th house of career and public standing. So, however, Mercury will be in retrograde. So this is a time for us to go internal and exactly reflect. Where are we in our career? Taurus also is a fixed sign, so it is very loyal. However, it can stay in situations for far too long, even when it is no longer beneficial. This is a time for Leo to really reevaluate where their energy is going. Is it going in the right place? Am I using my fire and my passion towards my career, or is there a change that needs to happen? Now, be careful about making any quick decisions during the retrograde. It is not recommended because during retrograde, and it is Mercury, so this is gonna cause some miscommunications, anything with that intellect, travel, technology. This is a time to reflect and go internal to figure out your next move. So not only is that Mercury retrograde and Sun conjunction going to be happening in your 10th house, but Pluto is also going to be going retrograde in your 7th house. What does that mean? So Pluto is the planet of death and transformation, and that is going into retrograde in your 7th house of love and partnerships. Well, because Pluto has a naturally destructive flavor, when it goes into retrograde, that actually brings a more positive effect than the other planets do when they go into retrograde. So because this Pluto retrograde is going to be opposite in the 7th house of your partnerships, there is going to perhaps be a sudden change in your love life. Someone comes out of nowhere. It is unexpected, but it is full of that chemistry, and there is not that destructive element that normally comes to that type of love at first sight. This may have a more genuine experience. However, with that Pluto, there is a level of transformation, there is a level of chaos, and it is going to transform both people involved. But follow yourself in that mutual attraction. It may not necessarily be a person. This partnership can also be found, in your career, in your best friend, whoever is really there with you through life. That 7th house is ruled by Libra, which is the sign of partnerships. By May 5th, we have a lunar eclipse in Scorpio happening in your 4th house. So because the lunar eclipse is happening in your 4th house of the home, I would recommend staying at home, doing those self-care rituals, cleansing your crystals, doing that journaling, and really going internal on what is working and what is not in that home life. So May 5th, we have that lunar eclipse, and then on May 7th, we have your 12th house awakening when Venus enters Cancer. So the 12th house is that of self-undoing, and Venus is the planet of love and relationships, and Cancer is a nurturing and mothering energy. So all of this is really going to be coming from a spiritual, downloaded experience. I'm telling you, this month is crazy for every sign, not just you. I would highly recommend just checking out a few of these other ones because this is a crazy month. So Venus entering Cancer in your 12th house, we can definitely see maybe there's like a hidden love. We found some mutual attraction earlier at the month. Be careful that there's not some sort of hidden agenda or some sort of hidden nature there. Especially when Venus is in the 12th house, we kind of see it could even be an affair. Depends how risque our life is. But there also, maybe you have a hidden love for someone. Maybe it's not even, that materialized yet. It could all just exist in your mind. Even a hidden passion for a hobby or something. I think this is really a time to figure out and uncover where am I hating from something that I love, and how can I bring that to the surface and connect with it. So May 7th, that is Venus in Cancer. Then we have Jupiter entering Taurus on May 16th, which Jupiter moves signs once every 10 to 12 years. So this is a pretty big deal. We have this happening in your 10th house of career and public standing. Jupiter is also the planet of good luck and good fortune. So 2 days prior, Mercury got out of retrograde and went direct, and now Jupiter is in your 10th house. This is a perfect time for you to go out and get something out of your career. All your ancestral good luck is on your side. Your guardian angels are with you. You just need to focus and put the work in. You need to show up for that career, and you will reap the rewards. So all of this, I would say, really wait to make those decisions until that May 16th or after. May 20th, Mars is going to enter Leo, so that is also going to help you, Leos. Mars is the planet of physical energy, so this is an extra exertion into that career that you can use from Jupiter entering Taurus. And then May 24th, Leos, you will connect to your moon in Leo. That by the end of the month, do another checkpoint in with yourself. How have you been making those goals in your career? How can you take that to the next level next month? And make sure you tune in next month so we can take this a step further and go along this journey together. Definitely leave a comment below on how you are going to be activating your career. What positive affirmations do you want to have? And definitely check out these other signs if you know what your moon and your rising sign are. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hello, my beautiful Virgos. Welcome to your Zodiac prediction for May 2023. Now, right away, May 1st is going to be extremely crazy. So really hold on and listen to this, because we have 2 different retrogrades plus a conjunction occurring. So let's just break that down. May 1st, we have the Sun conjunct a Mercury retrograde in your 9th house. And this is all going to be happening in the sign of Taurus. So when 2 planets are conjunct, that means that they are at the same degree of the sky. So they are intensified their energies on our lives, especially because one of them is going to be a Mercury retrograde. This one is going to actually be a little more difficult than other ones because that Sun energy is there, really amplifying this. So all of this is happening in your 9th house, which rules your spiritual learning, a sense of higher education in terms of wisdom. So because we have a Mercury retrograde here, you might be feeling a little bit disconnected from your inner self. You might be feeling disconnected from the cosmos, and this is totally okay, because you know what? This is encouraging you to reset and reevaluate what is and is not working in these areas. So Virgo, you might be feeling a bit disconnected from that spiritual center, from that higher cosmos that you are normally really in tune with. So what does this mean? This is nothing to be alarmed of. Please do not be hard on yourself during this time. It is simply a time to reevaluate and reconnect to what is and is not working in your life and in your spirit. Now, the 9th house is all about, reading spiritual text, of studying astrology, of getting in tune with a metaphysical science, if you will. So this is maybe an excellent time, if you have had some of these interests, to really dive deep inside of yourself, pick up a book and go explore some of these pieces and paths of education. It can definitely help bring you a sense of peace during this time. Now, May 1st is also very extreme because we also have Pluto going into retrograde on this same day. And this is going to be happening in your 6th house, which rules routines, daily life, daily habits. So Pluto is the planet of death and transformation. Dun, dun, dun. But when it is in retrograde, because it has naturally a little more of a destructive element, when it goes into retrograde, it has a little more of a positive effect than the other planets. So you are going to be feeling things shaken up in your routine, but for the better. There is going to be some sort of transformation. Please be prepared, because it's going to catch you off guard. That is the nature of Pluto. But this is all, again, going to be for the better. We also have that Mercury retrograde that is happening at the same time. So you might be feeling a bit frazzled, miscommunications in the workplace, even miscommunications with just your regular routine, maybe even just extreme delays, and finding ways where you have to, in a way, evolve your routine. Now, Virgo is definitely steadfast. Virgo knows how to hang in there, and they are all about their daily habits and sticking with the plan and self-improvement. And this time, this is really shaking you up on a spiritual sense, where you may not have as much control over the external world as you normally appear that you do. And I would say just really, in a sense, surrender that control and just live in the moment and live in those experiences, and really check back in with whatever spiritual guides you have. Again, if you have books, if you want to charge your crystals, if you want to do some journaling, if you have a mentor that you want to check back in with, that is the time to do it, right around this May 1st time. And we have the retrograde lasting until May 14th. All right, so May 1st is already going to be a lot to handle. And then, bam, 4 days later, we have on May 5th a lunar eclipse in Scorpio. This is going to be happening in your 3rd house of communication, of friendships, and that close inner circle. So we are going to be facing some emotional things we have been perhaps running away from we have been burying, we have not been acknowledging. Scorpio is going to bring this to the surface in your third house. So perhaps there is some tension amongst your friends that has been unacknowledged, that has been brushed aside, and these things really need to come to the surface in order to create a deeper intimacy and a deeper connection between you two. Now, Scorpio, again, we have that Pluto retrograde that is that transformation. Scorpio also rules a level of transformation of deep-seated collective unconscious desires. This is all going to be coming to the surface, and it's very important to make sure that you can hold space for these emotional changes. I know, Virgo, you are not the most emotional sign. You're not one to really deal with feelings depending on your full birth chart. But just Virgo in the mythology is all about being useful, all about creating good habits, working and getting stuff done. This is going to ask you to take that state of mind and turn it into your emotions. And that emotions are not necessarily something to run from. They are something that you can also work through with that methodical nature and really get to the bottom of things and really be the glue for your friend group during this time. So your friends are going to need your support. Definitely make sure you are showing up, and that even if it gets intense, you aren't turning away, you aren't letting them down, unless, it all depends on your situation. If things obviously get abusive, that is completely okay to have boundaries and say, you know what, this is not for me. So maybe some of those boundaries are going to come to light with that lunar eclipse in Scorpio, where, the emotional turmoil, everything is going to come to the surface with what you have been dealing with specifically in this friend group. So definitely be on the lookout for that for May 5th. And then May 7th, we have Venus entering Cancer in your 11th house. So Venus rules love and relationships, and Cancer is a sign of mothering, of nurturing, of being empathetic with other people. Because this is going to be happening in your 11th house of community on a larger scale, so we are going to see definitely a softer energy come into your life through this. This could be you extending this mothering and nurturing experience to someone else who really needs it, or someone could be creating a space for this empathy for you. And it's really important to just appreciate the softness at this time within your community, that you don't always need to be the strong one. You don't always need to be this sense of a very disciplined leader who is just getting it done no matter what. Sometimes it really takes that point to come into your community with that feminine energy and to really be there. And empathy can go so far and can really move people in a way that maybe not a disciplined nature is totally always relatable. We're going to be seeing just a lot more softness come into your life and come into your experiences through your community. Now, don't be alarmed. Again, a lot of this is very watery energy that's really coming up and washing away things. We have that steadfast nature of Taurus in the sun and Mercury. So this is going to really be the glue between that earth and that water for you. Taurus is a sensual sign. It is all about experiencing the material realm through the senses. And so this is a little more relatable. Virgo is also an earth sign. This will help bridge you into that Cancer energy that is going to be coming your way, and that Scorpio energy that is going to be coming your way. May 13th, then we have the moon opposite in Pisces. So this is really just going to be a month of just emotional things coming to the surface for you. Pisces is your opposite sign. It is the sign of a deep spiritual connection, of self-undoing. It is going into yourself and that cosmos within you, not necessarily about the material realm. Virgo is the opposite of this. It is finding that divine connection through the material realm, through that mundane nature, and really finding that beauty in holding that down and holding things together for people. So the moon is going to be in an opposite effect during this. Rest assured, there might be again, just a little more chaos that has been lingering from those last couple weeks. That opposite moon is a good time to really reflect on all of those spiritual journeys you had for the first couple weeks and really channel that opposite energy. Now, opposite signs, it just means that they are directly 180 from each other in the sky. So an opposite, that is a direct link of energy. If you learn how to transmute that, you can use that as an extreme power and an extreme advantage of two sides of the same coin coming together as one within your energy. So I would definitely say with that Pisces, go within yourself, do that spiritual reflection that you have been going through the last few weeks, and really solidify that, because the next day is when Mercury retrograde ends, and this is a perfect time to come out of your shell and really bring that new spiritual foundation you've created for yourself back into the world and start making those types of decisions of what do I really want to change now. I have come to conclusions. I have figured out what is working, what is not working, what emotional baggage do we need to be sorting through. So how are we going to move forward in our routine and in our everyday life after knowing this stuff? Because this is going to be such a transformative period. You can't just return to what you were doing before. You're going to really need to implement this stuff. So make sure when that moon is opposite in Pisces on May 13th that you are just launching yourself right when that Mercury retrograde ends the next day, launching yourself into that next chapter of your life. We have a very exciting experience that's going to be happening on May 16th. It only happens every 12 to 20 years. Jupiter is going to be moving signs into Taurus, and this is going to be joining the Sun and Mercury in your 9th house. So this is all aligned for, again, those, we talked about how the 9th house is that spiritual education, is a higher wisdom. This is a perfect time for you to now really bring the fruits of that education that you had. Then we had that detailed plan that we made, and now we have the good luck of our ancestors and of the universe on our side to really carry forth that plan and manifest an even deeper potential. Jupiter is all about expansion. Jupiter is all about good luck and bringing forth what you really deserve. And when you put in that work, your manifestation comes back tenfold. This, once again, is all lining in your 9th house. So we have a very spiritual time going on. Do not be afraid to be incorporating perhaps a little more of a ritualistic experience within your routine. You know, let's say you pray before you leave the house, or you make sure you cleanse your crystals. You make sure maybe you create some new jewelry where you can wear them with you at all times. You can really incorporate this higher energy and this higher vibration into that every day. Maybe instead of drinking coffee first thing in the morning, you have some tea, or, you know, they have lion's mane, which is a type of mushroom, which brings so much natural energy to you. Just thinking about these ways of really tuning into the cosmos, into your experience, you have the favor of the universe on your side to do this. Then on May 20th, we have Mars entering Leo in your 12th house. Virgo, this is going to be a very spiritual month for you guys. So the 12th house is ruled by Pisces, as we were talking about. That's all about this kind of deeper spiritual connection, this self-undoing. So Mars is the planet of physical energy, and it is going to be in your 12th house in Leo. So Mars, like we were saying, physical energy. Leo is a sign of creativity. It is a fire sign. It is supercharged to go out there and express itself. That creative physical energy is in your 12th house of self-undoing. These spiritual experiences that we had at the beginning of the month are really leading up to this momentum. This is where we're going to be having some deeper hidden agendas perhaps come to the surface, whether they're our own or someone else's. And it does not even necessarily mean negative just because it's hidden. You know, some of our deepest truths are some of our most precious buried secrets. And this is a time to really use that energy and use that creative force to dive even deeper into yourself. Now with Mars in Leo in your 12th house, you have a lot of passion behind you, in just really deconstructing how you connect to the universe and how you connect to yourself. Now, these types of hidden information that is constantly placed within the 12th house, again, this does not have to mean anything negative. This is just really bringing to the surface things that are in our subconscious that we really truly desire and that we really truly align with. I think it's so beautiful how sometimes when we're growing up, we're conditioned to like certain things and not like certain things. And the beautiful part of that is as we get older and the deeper we explore ourselves, we can really understand who we are and separate that from who we are told to be. Now, Virgo, I know you guys are super useful in this material realm. You love to get things done and really hold it down for other people. This is a time that can be just a little more chaotic, and through this chaos you can find deeper connection to yourself. And there's gonna be some challenges along the way. Even with that Mars in the 12th house, this could even bring perhaps certain sicknesses or certain health issues to deal with. Don't be afraid. This is all just a test of your spiritual strength. Nothing is going to be able to break you. You have that strength, but there is that passion to get to a deeper connection. Your spirit guides are waiting to hear from you. And this month is going to break that down. And you're going to really leave this month having a deeper connection to how to speak to them on that everyday basis. To wrap all of that up, on May 26th, the moon is going to be entering Virgo. One very interesting thing about the moon, we always talk about the star sign and how much significance this plays. However, the moon is the closest planet to us in astrology, and the moon controls the tides, and we as human beings are 70% water. So the moon, sometimes people resonate even deeper with the moon, their moon sign, than they do with their star or their sun sign. So the moon in Virgo, this is a stabilized position for the moon. This is where you have been going through all these ups and downs in May. Your whole life has been turned upside down, and you have been doing the work to really get to a deeper place with yourself within that. That moon in Virgo is going to be a nice kind of soothing, stabilizing force once again. And really, that is another time to check in and make sure that you have really internalized all of these lessons. You have caught on to everything. Even if you journal and you break down, maybe there are certain things that are stuck in your mind or certain conversations that you can't get out of your head. Write those down and have a free association and go even deeper. Why do I keep thinking about this? Why do I keep replaying what this person said? Maybe there's something that bothers you about someone, or there's just something that you can't let go. Really explore within yourself where that is coming from. And all of us do this. It's nothing personal, but often when we have strong reactions to things, there is a projection going on within ourselves. And again, it's totally okay. Everyone does it. This is part of the human psyche. And this is a path for us to understand ourselves on a deeper level. So Virgo, I hope you hang in there during this month. It is going to be a spiritual roller coaster, but I promise by May 26th, you are going to be grounded once again in your energy and moving forward. Please check back in with us for June and leave a comment below on how you are going to be coping during this time. What type of spiritual practices do you want to incorporate into your routine? Would love to hear them. And make sure you check out the other signs in the other video, depending on where your moon and your rising are. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much, Virgo. See you next time. Hello, my fellow Libras, and welcome to your Zodiac prediction for May of 2023. Your host, Elfie, is also a Libra. I am born October 11th, so I'm super excited to share this. Bear with me here. We are all in this together. So right away, May 1st, we have a lot coming our way. We have Mercury conjunct the Sun in Taurus in your 8th house. What does this mean? When two planets are conjunct, it means that they are at the same degree in the sky as each other. So this really intensifies an energy, especially the Sun conjunct with Mercury. Mercury is the planet of the mind and communication, which is also going to be in retrograde during all of this. Phew. So that retrograde is really amplified, okay? And during retrograde, we can have difficulties with communication, with technology, unexpected delays, maybe even an ex coming back into your life, or, someone from your past. There's going to be blasts from the past. And this is all going to be happening in your 8th house, which is a deep collective unconscious experience, really penetrating through the material realm and seeing in between the lines, seeing in between people's words, and really hearing what they're not saying, because that's what they really are saying. So this is all going to really shake up Libra. Libra is the sign of balance. Libra is a sign of peace, of diplomacy, of finding justice and harmony. And in the 8th house, this is just going to shake it up, because sometimes Libra can have a tendency to want to maintain peace and keep things at a superficial level, because they just don't want to go into all that. They don't necessarily have the capacity at that moment for all of that. After all, Libra is ruled by Venus. Libra is here to really spread love and spread joy. However, this Mercury retrograde in the 8th house is going to push you into realizing things that you might rather not. We are going to be having deep truths occur, and it could even be about ourselves. It could be about other people, about the way the world is around us. Things are not what they seem, and it is about to be revealed to us. And Libra, this is a good time to really internalize these energies. It is not a weakness to be able to identify the negative traits in other people. Libra is a sign that loves to see the best in other people, that really likes to bring the good out. However, we can get a bit fickle when we have that negativity come our way, because that's just not our memo. But that is just the memo of life. And so the sooner that we really accept that we cannot please everybody and that we cannot always have perfect interactions, as soon as we really incorporate these lessons into a deeper part of our self-esteem, that we are not here to just validate other people. We are not here to just make everyone feel good. When we see the darkness in people, we are allowed to identify it. And if people cannot own up to their shadow, we're going to have to learn how to adapt one way or the other. But ignoring it is not the answer. These truths are coming for you on May 1st. And on top of that, we have a Pluto retrograde happening May 1st as well. And that's going to be lasting for a few months. This is all going to be happening in your 5th house, Libras. So what does this mean? Pluto is the planet of death and transformation. When it is in retrograde, it typically has a little more of a positive effect because it has a destructive quality to it naturally. So we are going to see some sort of positive transformations. We're going to see some evolutions occurring in your 5th house, which is ruled by creativity. And we are just going to really blossom, I would say, our connection to our creativity in a way that is very primal. Now, Libra is always a creative, very artistic sign, whether it's with their style, with their ability to make art, with even just the way they decorate their home. This is going to really encourage Libras to tap into a deeper part of their creativity that perhaps has a more primal place where it is coming from. It is not necessarily based in the thought of what looks good, what doesn't look good, my art degree says this. No, this is going to be raw, visceral, and come from who knows where. It could even be referred to or compared to as sort of a dark feminine energy, where this is, for example, just this lone witch in the woods with her cauldron and doing her rituals and dancing naked by the moonlight and singing and finding, levels to her voice that she never knew she had before, but she has lost herself so much in the moment. She's able to express herself on a deeper level. Now, we're not saying you have to go do this, but that energy in that myth, in that metaphor, can be channeled into your experience. So when you are sitting down with your creativity and you feel yourself getting too in your head, you're gonna reach blocks, because this is pushing you to go even deeper, even more visceral. And on those things that, like we were talking about, the Mercury and the Sun conjunct in your 8th house, where certain hidden natures of people are going to be revealed, we can use that depth that we found with other people and really push our creativity into that as well with that Pluto retrograde. And you would be surprised of the types of beauty that come out of you that may not necessarily fit into a box. But this is just going to explore new sides of yourself. I'm super excited to see where that takes you, and myself too, as a fellow Libra. So Libra, we have a lot of intensity already at May 1st, and then May 2nd, the moon is going to be entering Libra. It is going to be at home with us. And one of the most beautiful things about the moon is how close it is to us, and the fact that it does control the tides, and we are 70% water ourselves. So a lot of people I speak to, they resonate even deeper with their moon sign than they do their sun sign. So when we have the moon in Libra, this is going to be bringing a level of calm to you that perhaps that day before just really brought a lot of energy to the surface that you didn't even realize. So this is going to be kind of like a lifeline here to make sure our Libra can stay balanced, stay peaceful, especially during this retrograde time. I would highly recommend not making any extreme decisions. This is a time of self-discovery and really documenting information and really taking that ability to make kind of pros and cons list and balance things for the good or bad, and internalizing that in a spiritual sense and really setting these types of boundaries and preparing for these boundaries. But I would say communicating differences at this time is not going to be the way. There's going to be miscommunications. There's going to be misunderstandings. With that full moon in Libra on May 2nd, I would say just bring it all back into the surface. Find that inner balance within you and internalizing these lessons so you can be more stable going forward. By May 5th, just a few days later, we are going to be having a gorgeous lunar eclipse in Scorpio, which is going to be happening in your 2nd house of finances and wealth. So this lunar eclipse in Scorpio is going to bring a lot to the surface. Scorpio is really going to be bringing out this emotional chaos, things that need to be destroyed in order to be renewed. So the lunar eclipse in Scorpio in your 2nd house can also be bringing huge revelations. Maybe there's a huge breakthrough that you really needed to get. It could be in your career. It could maybe be in a project you're working on. Maybe there is a fierce deadline that you need to reach, and you do have that extra energy to put in that effort to really get there and get it done. Now, a lunar eclipse is a pretty emotional time, I would say, especially we have Scorpio. There is going to just be a level of destruction. Again, destructiveness is not necessarily bad, because sometimes old systems are very toxic for us and they need to be destroyed. They need to be taken down. Maybe even the way that you are relating to your own finances. Maybe there is a certain level of a victim mentality or a poverty type of mentality where you think that you are always going to be stuck in these cycles of never truly receiving what you desire. Well, with this lunar eclipse in Scorpio in your 2nd house, this is a time to throw away all of that old thinking and come out with a new plan. If you want to make $1 million, you're going to have to first tell the universe that and believe it to the bottom of your soul. If you don't really mean it, the universe is going to know. And if you tell the universe and you really do mean it, the first thing that is going to happen is the universe is going to test you. The universe is going to test how much do you really mean this? Do you really want to move forward with your life? Have you really let go of those old systems and those old ways of thinking? If you haven't, if you do not necessarily pass these lessons, you are going to have to go through them again. So do not be alarmed when once you really set your new financial intention that there are going to be immediate challenges. A lot of people will take that as a sign as, oh, it's not meant to be. I'm not the one. This is stupid. Absolutely not. We give our most favorite protagonists in any type of movie, some of the most difficult challenges to overcome. We are training people into warriors. That is the game of the universe. You are able to get through anything, and you are able to achieve anything you want. You just have to believe in yourself, and you have to stay calm, and you have to stay true, and also stay logical. There is a rational component as well as a spiritual component coming together, but with this lunar eclipse in Scorpio, that is definitely a primal energy that is coming to the surface to change your direction. So definitely good luck with that. Definitely some food for thought there. On May 7th, we have Venus entering Cancer, which that is going to be happening in your 10th house. Now, Venus is going to be in Cancer for about 20 days, and Venus is the planet of love and relationships, and Cancer is a sign of nurturing, of empathy, of connecting with other people. So when we have Scorpio in the 2nd house, which is a water sign, in that 2nd house of finances, we have Cancer, which is also a water sign, in your 10th house of career and public standing. We are definitely kind of easing off the gas in terms of our overthinking, our logical drive, and we are just really embracing our intuition on a deeper level. Now, Libra, because they're all about balance, they're all about those pros and cons and really thinking things through before you do them. Sometimes Libras can talk themselves out of things. Sometimes Libras can even question their own intuition. Now is the time to let that stuff go. It is not serving you. Yes, it is effective and can keep you safe if you really weigh out every possible situation, but the universe is encouraging you to take a leap of faith. Now, even in your career and public standing with that Venus in Cancer, there may be a certain level where you really need to be showing some empathy for someone, that you really need to be connecting heart to heart with someone. Sometimes in business, the best way to get stuff done is to really build relationships with other people. And it's not necessarily about winning them over with status or a lot of times people are just looking for genuine people to connect with, genuine people that they like and that they want to do business with. So when you take these approaches, this is going to help you significantly in these areas. And we have that financial transformation going on as we have that Venus in Cancer in the 10th house. This is a great alignment for you to be trusting your intuition, trusting those divine messages, and be prepared for them, because there are a lot of different voices in all of our heads. We have the overthinking, we have an intrusive thoughts, but we have that inner voice. And as I like to say, as Elfie, inside yourself, there is an elf. What is that higher self? What is that higher voice? That is what we're all going to be tuning into. And when you specifically during this time, it is going to help you with your career and your finances. Then we have in May 15th, the moon is going to be in opposite Aries. Now, when two signs are opposite each other, it just means that they are directly 180 degrees from each other. And opposites do attract. They're essentially two sides of the same coin. Libra is the sign of partnerships, of collaboration. Aries is all about the self. It is the pioneer. It is the first sign of the Zodiac. So when we have those two energies opposite each other, it can either be a conflict, or if you really understand yourself and your place in your partnerships, you can transmute this energy to have an extra strength. This can be a day of intense activation for you on these goals that we have been setting for our finances and for our career. This is a perfect full moon to do some rituals, to really ask the universe for what you want to receive. Then the day after, we have Jupiter entering Taurus, which Jupiter only moves every 12 to 20 years. So this is very lovely. Jupiter is entering Taurus and joining Mercury and the Sun in your 8th house. So like we were talking about, the 8th house is all about that collective unconscious, really seeing deeper into people and their intentions. And now we are, our planet of the mind, and then we have also had the sun of the season in this house. We have Jupiter, which is the planet of good luck and good fortune. This is also joining this. So Maybe we have had a lot of difficult revelations before this. Jupiter is bringing an extra ounce of good luck into this. Jupiter is really taking those difficult revelations and really showing that this is all for a reason. This is all for a purpose. This is all going to help you at the end of the day. Sure, some of this information may be difficult to stomach, but have faith. Your ancestors are on your side, and this is honestly not the end of the journey of you having these deep revelations about the world or yourself or the people around you. This is kind of just the beginning, but like I said, have faith in these discoveries. It is all going to help you on your journey. Then on May 20th, we have Mars entering Leo. That's going to happen in your 11th house. So Mars is the planet of physical energy, and Leo is the sign of creativity and entertainment. We have this happening in the 11th house of community. So you might have all of a sudden an extra burst of passion to go out into your community and be this lovely flamboyant self and just really shine on other people. This is a perfect time for you to have taken kind of these dark revelations that you've had and transmute them into light through your actions. You can show up for people. You know, with Mars and Leo, it can also be about taking care of your tribe. So maybe you are stepping up to the plate, maybe even you're working in a soup kitchen or something like that, but it can also mean entertainment. Maybe you just throw a really amazing party for your community. Maybe you have a dinner party, something. But all of this energy is aligned for you to really have that passion for your community. That can also be your online community. The 11th house is just all about those kind of general network that we really hold together. It is all about who you know and expanding that, the 6 degrees of separation. This is all going to be electrified for you. You could definitely take this energy to reach a new following, to make new friends, and to just overall really increase that creativity and the way you're connecting with your community. Then right towards the end of the month on May 29th, we have the moon circling one more time in Libra. This is our final check-in point for the month of how we are doing. We have had a crazy month of learning so many things, a lot of challenges, and if the universe was really testing you, those challenges will come. So make sure when you are manifesting, you really, really mean it, and do not be alarmed when those challenges arise, because they are there for you to prove your faith and prove your commitment to the next phase of your life. So this moon in Libra on May 29th is going to be our final check-in with ourselves spiritually for that month. Definitely make sure you tune back in next month to get your zodiac prediction for June. Make sure you check out the other signs that are part of your birth chart in other parts of the video, and leave comments below and let us know all about these secrets that you think are going to be revealed to you in your life. Thank you so much, Libra, for joining us. See you next time. Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to your zodiac prediction for May 2023. This is going to be a turbulent month for everyone. However, it is so fruitful. There are a lot of lessons to garner, so let's get started. May 1st, right away, we have the Sun conjunct Mercury retrograde in Taurus. This is all going to be happening in your 7th house. So let's just break down what that means. Well, Mercury is the planet of the mind, and when a planet is in retrograde, that means it appears to be moving backwards in its orbit due to how fast it is moving compared to the Earth. So it is an illusion, but it is appearing to move backwards. In astrology, we see retrogrades really bring out miscommunications, really bring up delays in travel, technological issues. It can bring back people from your past that you thought were gone forever. And retrograde is really a point to check in with where you are now compared to where you were, and how committed are you to staying on track and staying on that path, no matter what difficulties come your way, no matter what trials, and no matter who comes back from the past trying to kind of bring you back into a different version of yourself. This is all testing your commitment to this forward new self. Now, all of this is happening conjunct the Sun, which means the sun and Mercury are at the same exact point in the sky in your chart. So this is really intensifying that level of Mercury retrograde. This is all happening in your 7th house of partnerships. So we can definitely be finding some sort of issues arising in our partnerships. Now, this could be a romantic partner, this could be a business partner, this could be just someone that you really value as your equal, as an essential part of your life. That suddenly, in ways communication flowed very easily in the past, now suddenly there's some levels of break in communication. There are some challenges that are coming back, especially because this is in the 7th house of partnerships. You're definitely going to be having some blasts from the past come up and try to sway you into opening your life again to them. Now, we do not recommend during retrograde to just jump right into this. Maybe perhaps you could entertain it in your mind, but we highly recommend until after retrograde do you make any extreme decisions, which include even responding to them, because that is a slippery slope. Once they're in your DMs, you blink and suddenly they're inside your house having coffee with you, and who knows where else that can lead. We recommend really taking the time to go into yourself and really find, what do I want in my partnerships? This is a beautiful time to reevaluate what is and is not working in those areas. So maybe even your current partner, there's something that is missing and something that is void. And perhaps as a Scorpio, you have put up your walls and you have kind of just been pretending that it's not there. This Taurus opposition energy that is going to be occurring, which I should have also mentioned to you guys, on top of all of this, Mercury in retrograde conjunct the sun in your 7th house, this is all opposite Scorpio. So an opposition is when two planets or signs are exactly 180 degrees opposite each other. Now, this can be a very intense energy. Opposites do attract, and opposites can be transmuted if you really find that direct link and find that inner power. All of these energies coming together can really accelerate your transformation in a way that you normally typically can't. So this is a time to really Pokemon level up, evolve into that next character. We are going to be seeing Charmanders turn into Charizards during this month. Check it out, Scorpio, because on May 2nd, Pluto is going to be retrograding in your 4th house, which rules the home, a sense of security, your safe place. So our Pluto, which Pluto actually rules Scorpio. Pluto is an energy of a sense of a destructive force. It rules kind of a death and transformation. And because it's in retrograde, it actually brings a little more of a positive aspect out to it, ironically enough, because most planets, when they go into retrograde, they have a little more of a wonkiness to them. They have like we were saying, Mercury retrograde, there's miscommunications, there's disconnects. When Pluto is in retrograde, we see a lot more of a positive transformation occurring. So we could definitely be seeing, especially with Pluto is a bit of a trickster character where destruction seems negative. However, sometimes things need to be destroyed in order to rebuild the life that we really deserve and that we really want. And there is this kind of a beautiful type of proverb that I will just paraphrase really quickly. So, for example, there was a man, he had about 3 sheep and he lost all of his sheep. And someone was like, well, that sucks. And he's like, well, we'll see. And then the next day, the three sheep came back and they brought a bunch of horses. So not only did he not judge that occurrence before it happened, he let it really play out and see that it actually led to a beneficial experience for him. Now, that was a super basic paraphrasing just to kind of get that message across. But during this Pluto retrograde, I would say do not judge these things that are going to be transforming. Now, some of this stuff is probably going to be unsettling, probably going to be difficult. Scorpios, we know you can handle it. You are one of our strongest signs of the zodiac. You are one of the few signs that is really able to stare darkness in its face and not look away. Your flame will not flicker during any of this. However, we have another huge transformation coming your way. On May 5th, we have a lunar eclipse in Scorpio. This is going to be happening in your first house. So a lunar eclipse in Scorpio, there is going to be a lot of emotions coming out. There is going to be a sense of chaos. This is going to be happening in your first house of self. So there is going to be a disruption in the way we typically perceive energy as Scorpios. All of this intense emotional renewal that the lunar eclipse is going to bring is going to be happening in your first house of self. So there is going to be a certain level of the way we perceive ourselves is going to be destroyed, but perhaps for the better, because there's something that we need to be a little more honest with ourselves about. Maybe even we just need to evolve, like the Charmander becoming the Charizard. He needs to let go of certain things in order to grow. We have growing pains for a reason. The butterfly needed to go into the cocoon first in order to transform from being a caterpillar. These are difficult experiences. These are examples of destruction. But this is where the phoenix rises from the ashes. And like I said, Scorpio, no other sign is better equipped to rise from their ashes than you. So do not be alarmed. Really take the time to journal and self-reflect. Because we have that retrograde going on top of all of this, the Mercury retrograde, I would not recommend making any extremely brash decisions. Do not really give into the self-destructive emotions. You may be feeling some senses that, there's an ego death occurring, but do not lash out at yourself. Do not take these things out on yourself. Even if you need to journal out your intrusive thoughts, maybe go for a run, maybe find a way. If you play music, this is a great time to do some songwriting, to tap into a deeper and darker primal energy and turn it into a creative force. But do not make any brash decisions. Do not define yourself during this period. Do not think that this is going to be the end for you. This is actually the beginning. So we have to just be super brutally honest with ourselves in ways that, maybe we're not seeing totally clearly, but it's okay. It is all for the better. Let's say you had a glimpse of your highest version of yourself, and then you really, really compared it to who you are today and your integrity, and how can you really start realigning your habits into becoming that person you are and that you are destined to be. Then we have May 7th, Venus enters Cancer in your 9th house. Venus is the planet of love and relationships, and Cancer is the sign of nurturing, of empathy, of really connecting to other people and helping take care of people. It is one of the most psychic signs. It is one of the most empathetic signs. This is happening in your 9th house of a spiritual exploration, of a higher learning of wisdom. So what we can see here, we had a lot of self-transformations occurring before this. This is going to really signal to us that we are going to really have part of that emotional maturity come from being open and vulnerable in our relationships. You are not in this journey alone, Scorpio. No matter how much you may think you are, no matter how much it feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders and other people just don't feel as deeply as you, they don't understand as deeply as you, this Venus in Cancer is telling you that someone in your life does, and they're waiting to be there for you. I really get the sense that you are going to be on the receiving end of a nurturing experience, and it is going to lead you along the way on that spiritual growth, on that spiritual wisdom that you need to go from Charmander to Charizard. Then on May 16th, Jupiter is going to be entering Taurus, which Jupiter only moves every 12 to 20 years. So this is a pretty big deal. This is also going to be lining up in your 7th house. So Mercury, which was in retrograde, will actually leave retrograde on May 14th and go direct. That is still going to be in your 7th house. The sun in Taurus is in your 7th house. And now Jupiter on May 16th has joined in your 7th house of partnerships. So we saw a lot of things really rise to the surface in our partnerships. There may have been some things that were hidden, some things that were not being said in the beginning of this month that really stirred up and shook up these situations. So by the time May 16th, Jupiter is entering Taurus in your 7th house. Mercury has gone direct. It is out of retrograde. So now is the time to really directly confront all of those things that you realized. So I know it has been difficult the first few weeks of having all these realizations and not exactly acting on them. Scorpio is such a powerful sign. They really want to bring that intensity to the surface as soon as they feel it. We're going to be holding off on that until after that Mercury retrograde. And May 16th, when Jupiter enters the 7th house, this is a perfect opportunity. We have Jupiter, which is the planet of good luck. This is now on your side and in your favor to really be having these types of conversations and really find that type of growth, find that type of common ground in that communication with that partner in your life. Again, this could be a romantic partner, a business partner, it could be a roommate, it could be someone who is very important in your existence in that way. And so Jupiter is going to be in Taurus in your 7th house for the next 12 to 20 years, my friends. So this is a perfect new starting point and a new chapter for the way that you are going to be coming into partnerships. You have a lot of good luck on your side, so please believe in yourself. Please believe in standing up for yourself and really drawing those boundaries and figuring out what is and not working in those situations. This is a highly favorable time to even maybe find that partner that you're looking for. Let's say you are flying solo, you don't have somebody yet. Well, we have done that beginning work in the beginning of the month to really figure out why we are not attracting what we want to attract. And now is the next phase to really attract it. Then May 20th, Mars is entering Leo in your 10th house. So Mars is the planet of physical and sexual energy. Leo is the sign of creativity and self-expression, and the 10th house is the one of career and public standing. So we have this fire sign ignited in Mars, and it is directly in your 10th house of career. So all of these transformations, this is really a good activation point for our Charizard energy. We have that fire in the Mars sign and we are pushing towards our career now. So we have done so much work on ourselves, in ourself, in our partnerships, and reevaluating what is not working. This is now going to shift a focus into our career. This is going to be jump-starting whatever you have been kind of dreaming about. You know, Scorpio, you definitely have this energy on your side to find what you are passionate about and commit it to your career and implement it into that public standing. There is a way, maybe people are not seeing you as clearly as they should. They're maybe not even giving you as much credit as you should for who you really are. This Mars and Leo is encouraging you to put yourself out there, to be unashamed, to be flamboyant, to be a self-starter, even if that adds a little entertainment to it. You know, don't be afraid to have the flair. Don't be afraid to show off during this period. You deserve it. You have been waiting for this, and it is your time to shine. Then May 31st, we have the moon entering Scorpio one last time. This is not going to be anywhere close to how intense the lunar eclipse was earlier in the month, but this is our last check-in point to really circle back into ourselves. What have we really learned in this? And the moon, it is the closest planet in astrology to us. The moon controls the tides, and we are 70% water. So please do not underestimate even the power of just the moon aligning in your sign. This, again, is a great time to check back in with yourself, to do some journaling, to do reassessments. This month is going to be all over the place. You need those moments of silence to just meditate on what is going on. You don't want to be moving too fast. This is all a time for absorbing information. Thank you so much for listening, Scorpio. Please drop a comment below on what you're expecting to happen. What are these transformations? What does your personal Charizard look like? I would love to know. Please drop it in the comments. Thank you so much for tuning in, and make sure you check out the other signs in the other parts of the video to get the most personalized horoscope possible. Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to your Zodiac prediction for May 2023. Let's get started. May 1st, we are going to be having a Pluto retrograde on top of a Mercury in retrograde conjunct the Sun in Taurus. So what does this mean? So Pluto is the sign of death and transformation and rebirth. This in retrograde is actually going to bring a little more of a positive effect to that, where we see a little more of a positive transformation going on. This is all going to be happening in your third house of communication and friendships. So we are going to see some positive evolution going on here. Maybe you start to take a different role with your friends. Maybe you even branch out into a new friend group. Maybe the people that you were hanging out with was not maybe necessarily working for you, and you were just putting up with it so you wouldn't have to be alone. Well, this Pluto in retrograde is really going to be shaking things up and really going to be encouraging you and giving you that power to walk away from things that are no longer working in that area with your friends or that type of inner circle. Now, also on that day, we have the Mercury in retrograde as well, which Mercury rules communication and the intellect. And retrograde, just very simply, it seems like the planet is moving backwards from the Earth's perspective. And this is due to the different speeds of the planet's orbits. So this Mercury retrograde is going to be conjunct the Sun in Taurus, which means that both of the planets are in the exact same position in the sky. So this is going to really intensify this Mercury retrograde. We are going to see significant miscommunications, delays, technological issues, blasts from the past, people that are going to be testing where we are in this present day. And that aligned with that Pluto in retrograde, this is going to really transform you on a friendship level. Now, that Mercury and Sun conjunction is going to be in your 6th house of daily habits and routines. The Pluto retrograde in the 3rd house of your inner circle. We are just going to be really seeing those two things turned upside down for the better. It is time for you to reevaluate what is working and what is not. This is not necessarily the time to be making those brash decisions, but just really thinking about it and really analyzing it and digesting that information. Then on May 5th, we have a lunar eclipse in Scorpio. This is going to be happening in your 12th house. So the lunar eclipse in Scorpio is going to bring a lot of emotional volatility. This is going to bring things to the surface, and there is really no way to escape these things. Maybe we have been running from them for a while, especially because it's going to be in your 12th house, which this is the house of hidden secrets. It's the house of karma. It is the house of self-undoing. All of this stuff is really going to come from within you. Things that maybe you have been, especially Sagittarius, this is a very quick sign, quick-witted. It is a running sign. It is go, 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 never stopping. This lunar eclipse is going to halt you in your tracks. On top of a Pluto in retrograde, on top of a Mercury in retrograde, we have a huge spiritual awakening under wraps here for you. Do not be alarmed, and really, I would say, accept this ego death with open arms. It is not defining you. It is just letting you know what you need to let go of. May 6th, we have a moon in Sagittarius. This is the moon at home in the sign with you. This is a point to really check in with yourself, do these self-care rituals, really take a step in, take a moment in, draw a hot bath, and just really digest all of this information and what is really best for you. Then on May 7th, we have Venus entering Cancer in your 8th house. So Venus is the planet of love and relationships. Cancer is a nurturing and empathetic sign. This in your 8th house, which the 8th house rules the collective unconscious. This is the things in between the lines. What are people not saying, which is really what they actually mean. So we are going to be having these sorts of revelations in a very empathetic way in our relationships, where we may be trying to nurture people. We may be just trying to show up as a good-hearted individual, and we unfortunately are seeing perhaps the worst in people, or at the most positive, their true colors. And honestly, when someone shows you their true colors, Sagittarius, believe them. You don't need to make excuses for them. You don't need to even see them in a virtuistic light, that they can get better. They are trying to improve. Not everybody is on that method of self-improvement like you are. Sometimes these messages are there to give you warnings for things to stay away from. So definitely use this energy to figure out who is worth giving your energy to and giving your time to. And who doesn't? Well, they're going to reveal themselves at this time. Then lastly, May 20th, Mars is going to be entering Leo. That's going to happen in your 9th house. Mars is a planet of physical energy. Leo is the sign of creativity and self-expression. And 9th house is the planet of higher learning, of a higher wisdom. So this Mars energy in Leo in your 9th house is really a spiritual ignition for you, taking all of this information that you received previously in this month and putting it to use on your spiritual path. This is definitely the time to be picking up a book, to really call your mentor, to really be tuning into your meditations, incorporating that spiritual element into your everyday life. This is the time to find a way to express that as well, that your spiritual connection is not just something to keep to yourself as a hidden secret. This is actually something to give to other people and to express yourself with. You have a very special connection to higher wisdom, Sagittarius. The 9th house, it is ruled by Sagittarius. So again, use this Leo energy, this self-expression, this creativity to express that spiritual connection. Sagittarius, thank you so much for tuning in. Please let me know what type of spiritual tips and transformations you think you're going to be undergoing this month. Please leave a comment below and make sure you check out the other signs to get the best, most encompassed zodiac prediction for your entire birth chart. Thank you, Sagittarius. Hello, Capricorn. Welcome to your zodiac predictions for May 2023. Let's get started because we have a lot to go over. So May 1st, right off the bat, we have a Mercury retrograde. We have a Pluto retrograde. We have the Sun conjunct Mercury. What does all this mean? Well, let's take it one step at a time. So Mercury retrograde, Mercury is the planet of communication and intellect. When it goes into retrograde, this means that from Earth's perspective, the planet appears to be orbiting backwards. This is due to the speeds of the differing planets of their orbits. One is moving faster than the other, and this creates an optical illusion. Now, this Mercury in retrograde is going to be conjunct to the Sun in Taurus. This is all going to be happening in your 5th house. So the Sun conjunct to that Mercury retrograde is really going to intensify that Mercury retrograde in the 5th house of creativity and self-expression. So maybe during this time, you find that you are not able to express yourself as easily. This is something that maybe really comes naturally for you. You are super comfortable being yourself. You are ready to be a creative superstar at all times. Well, now all of a sudden, things are just not working out as well. Maybe your charisma wheels need to be greased a little bit, or just something is off. Do not be too hard on yourself at this time. This is just something that is part of the Mercury retrograde. I would say instead of maybe talking as much, maybe write a lot of this stuff down, write a lot of these feelings, and really evaluate, what is my self-expression? Is it truly aligned with who I really am? Or is it more aligned with what people expect from me? Especially Capricorn, you are an extremely useful sign. You are all about achieving your dreams. You are all about being methodical and a little emotionally detached. This Mercury retrograde in your 5th house is going to really bring that attachment into a full circle if you get through those difficult bumps along the way. So stick with yourself through that. We also, May 1st, we have a Pluto retrograde in Aquarius that is going to be happening in your 2nd house. So Pluto is the planet of transformation when it is in retrograde, because when it is direct, it has a little more of a destructive tendency. When it goes into retrograde, it has more of a positive transformational effect. This is going to be happening in your 2nd house of finances and wealth. So Capricorn, you probably love to hear that, as Capricorns are all about their career and making some money. Well, we have some powerful transformations going on in this element. There might be some new investment opportunities that come your way. There may be something that comes out of the blue, a new career opportunity. There are just a lot of different ways to be reevaluating your finances and your wealth. Maybe there's a new budget plan you need to be creating. Maybe there is a sense of a loss that occurs. However, it may lead to something more profitable. This is also a great time to give an offering to the universe. One of the biggest parts of manifesting is not only telling the universe what you want, but also giving an offering in order to receive. We can only receive once we are giving. So as soon as you enter in that cycle of giving, you will receive tenfold with this Pluto energy in your second house. Now, May 5th, we have a lunar eclipse happening in your 11th house. So that a lunar eclipse, it's going to be in Scorpio. We have a lot of emotions coming to the surface. Capricorn, really strapped down. I know you guys are not the biggest fans of emotional outbursts, but they are coming for you. And it's going to be happening in your 11th house of community. So there might be something going on in your community. Who knows? You might not even necessarily be a part of it, but you are going to be sucked into some sort of drama. Maybe there is, just as a rough example of something that could happen is like something like the Me Too movement is a great example of a Scorpio energy in the 11th house, where things are rising to the surface in our community and we are really being vulnerable that people are not being treated correctly. Now, this is a perfect opportunity for you to really choose what is right and what is wrong, and who are you really aligning with? Is this exactly the type of person you are? And is this person really reflecting your morals? So this is a great time to just go into that reflection, really observe your community. I would not say it's a good time to make any brash decisions or like jump to any conclusions because of that Mercury retrograde, but really receive information from as many different sources as possible. Then May 7th, we have Venus entering Cancer, and this is going to be in your 7th house, which that is a very, very sweet placement for you. Venus is the planet of love and relationships. Cancer is the sign of nurturing, of empathy. That's going to be in your 7th house of partnerships and relationships. So we definitely see a very loving energy entering your partnerships. Partnerships can be anything from romantic to a roommate to a business partner, etc. Whoever is an important person in your life, that is a partnership. We see a heightened level of empathy. We see a heightened ability to really connect and create intimacy together. Capricorn, do not shy away from this. Cancer and Venus is going to be opposite you. And that when two signs are opposite, it just means that those two signs or planets are 180 degrees from each other. You can transmute that emotional, beautiful empathy into your power, into your growth in your career. So you can definitely really tap into your emotions here in a way that you normally don't really like to. May is going to be shaking us up. Then the next day, May 8th, the moon is going to be entering Capricorn, where we get finally a little bit of a safe haven. The moon is a very emotional planet. It's considered a planet in astrology. When it's in Capricorn, it is definitely a lot more stable. It is a lot more methodical. It is a lot more logical. So this is a time when you can really come in within yourself and your intuition and really approach it from an analytical perspective, which comes really naturally to you, where you can actually dissect this information you have received, especially with that lunar eclipse happening in your 11th house and we're kind of reevaluating our community. This moon in Capricorn on May 8th is going to really set a place for you to do that deep level thinking. Then Mercury is going to be going direct on May 14th. After this is the perfect opportunity for you to address all of these concerns and reevaluations you have had within your community and within yourself, and bring that to light now that Mercury has gone direct. And finally, May 20th, we have Mars entering Leo in the 8th house. So Mars is a planet of physical energy. Leo is creativity. In your 8th house, that is really seeing into the collective unconscious. This also has to do with levels of inheritance, levels of really just seeing deeper below the surface. So Mars in Leo in that 8th house, this is really an ignition towards finding the truth, finding those deep secrets within that human psychology. This is also really going to tie into that lunar eclipse earlier in the 11th house. All secrets are going to be revealed to you, Capricorn, but luckily you have that methodical, you have that steadfast way of thinking. You are going to be able to find the best way to approach this as long as you stay true to that and you stay logical, and also really connect with that Venus opposition energy and incorporating that empathy into your strategy. So Capricorn, thank you so much for listening. Please drop a comment below on what you think you're going to be expecting. What are your hopes and wishes for your alignment and for your community? Let us know, and make sure you check out those other signs so you can get the best and most conclusive horoscope for the month of May for you. Thanks, Capricorn. Hello, Aquarians, and welcome to your Zodiac prediction for May 2023. This month is insane for everyone, and you are no exception. So let's get to it. So May 1st, right away, we have a conjunction occurring in your 4th house. We have a Mercury retrograde, which Mercury is the planet of the mind and intellect. A retrograde is when a planet appears to be moving backwards in its orbit from Earth's perspective, but this is an illusion due to the pace of orbits when they pass each other. So this Mercury retrograde is conjunct the Sun in Taurus, which means that Mercury retrograde is just heightened and strengthened. This is all going to be happening in your 4th house. So the 4th house is that of the home. So we may have some arguments or disputes, or the home life is a little bit shaken up during this time. Now, this is really, I would recommend not taking it extremely personal. During retrograde, we can have miscommunications, we can have delays, we can just have things that are normally connecting are like ships in the night, and we don't know why. We can even have blasts from the past. Exes come back, people that you had cut off, that you thought you were over with, ding dong, they're at your door and they are looking to come in. This is all challenges from the universe. Do you really want to let that person in again? How far have you grown? Where are you at that same point of relating to them in the way you used to? These are all lessons from the universe to see how far you have evolved. So do not act upon any of these people. Do not act upon any of these new appearances. Do not take personally these types of disputes or arguments or disruptions in your home life. Instead, internalize it, maybe journal about it, meditate on it, and figure out what is it really trying to tell you. Maybe it is time to, for example, if you're living with your parents, maybe it is time to leave home. Maybe it is time to branch out, to redecorate, whatever it may be. However, now is not the time to do that. This is the time to realize it. We're going to do a little more action after May 14th when Mercury does go direct and it is no longer in retrograde. But before we get to May 14th, on May 1st, we also have Pluto in retrograde. And that is in Aquarius. Pluto has recently entered Aquarius, and Pluto moves like once every 20 to 30 years. And it recently moved into Aquarius. That is conjunct to you guys. This is going to be happening in your 1st house. Now, Pluto is a planet of death and transformation because it typically has a connotation of destructiveness naturally. This retrograde actually gives a positive spin to it, where other planets can have a little more of a darkness to it during retrograde. We are going to be seeing some positive transformations occurring within the self. Now, there are just new evolutions to be reached. And I know as Aquarius, we love to march to the beat of our own drum. We love to be as authentic and as different as possible, and in ways that can make other people insecure. Aquarius thrives off being different. Well, though we are different and we love it, we are not even close to being our true selves yet. And that is totally okay. Revealing our true selves is a path, and it is awakening, and it is a very exciting journey. Now, along the way, there are going to be ego deaths, so please do not be too hard on yourself. Please do not internalize intrusive thoughts. find ways to get them out. If you need to vent, if you need to cry, if you need to journal, if you need to take a run, do whatever you need to do to get through those dark feelings, because on the other side of them is going to be a huge transformational growth for you. We're talking caterpillar into a cocoon, into a butterfly. This is going to be the next phase of our life starting on May 1st. So then on May 5th, we have a lunar eclipse in Scorpio that is going to be happening in your 10th house. So this lunar eclipse in Scorpio, this is really going to bring to the surface an emotional upheaval, things that we have been trying to escape, trying to run from, trying to not address. The outbursts are going to happen. The levee has broken and all truth is going to be unleashed. This is going to be happening in your career and public standing. So around this time, please be very, very delicate and very sensitive. Aquarius, I know you love to rise to a challenge. You are not afraid of an argument, but do not get too tangled with people because they are not as detached as you during this time. Especially in this house of career, this could backfire if you really try to logically speak to people at this time in a disagreement. They are not going to be able to hear you, especially because of that Mercury retrograde. It can just severely backfire. We need to be really walking carefully with empathy. And even if we just think that that person is full of it, we may need to just move our alignment elsewhere for the time being. So be treading very carefully around this lunar eclipse during this time. It may even be you who is the emotional one. Again, just depending on your full birth chart, make sure you check out these other signs to get a fully encapsulated horoscope. But then we have May 7th, Venus is going to be entering Cancer in your 6th house. Venus is the planet of love and relationships. Cancer is an empathetic, nurturing sign in your 6th house of routine. So maybe where that lunar eclipse is going to be causing perhaps some turmoil in that career, one thing that can really take your mind off of it is focusing on nurturing and loving your daily habits and focusing on loving that routine, maybe even implementing a lot more self-care. How are you taking care of your skin? Do you put lotion on every day? What are these things? Maybe do you need to get your nails done? Do you need to get the ends of your hair trimmed? What are certain things that you can do to really pamper yourself? But also self-care is not just about pampering. Self-care is also about shadow work. Self-care is also about being very honest with yourself about things that are holding you back. Self-care is also about connecting to your friends and your family. So definitely use this nurturing energy within your daily habits and routine. Now on May 10th, the moon is going to be entering Aquarius. This is a perfect checkpoint for you to really get back into your groove. Now, moon in Aquarius is a little more of a detached sign. It's not going to be encouraging the moon's emotions per se, but this is going to be just highlighting our quirkiness, highlighting our differences, and highlighting the ways that we have been focusing on our evolution from the previous weeks. Then Mercury is going to be going direct around May 14th. So after this point is the time to call to action, to really implement and go forward with these lessons that we have learned. Then on May 16th, Jupiter is going to be entering Taurus. That is all going to be happening in your 4th house, lining up with that Mercury, lining up with that Sun there. And this is right around the time that the Mercury is going direct. So again, this is a perfect time to be really giving that assertiveness into that home life, into those things that were perhaps interrupted for the first couple weeks. Now we can finally address them and bring our logic to the table for that. And finally, May 20th, Mars is going to be entering Leo in the 7th house, which this can be a very exciting, very flirty time for you, Aquarius. So Mars is physical energy, Leo is creativity and self-expression, and the 7th house is partnerships. So we can find a lot of favor in the flame. So maybe we have someone we really want to ask out. Maybe we want to get on stage and really show people our true abilities. Maybe we have someone who is underestimating us and we just really want to show them what we truly are capable of. All of this Mars and Leo energy is surrounding you and bringing you good fortune for this. So this is a perfect time to really put yourself out there. This can be even a time where you may even go on a bunch of dates and some of them aren't working out, but you have that drive to go on the next date and really put in that focus to finding someone who is a good enough partner for you. This can also give you the courage to break up partnerships that are just not working for you. You don't have to stick around to things that are unfulfilling and no longer meeting your needs. This Mars in Leo is giving that physical energy to put yourself first in those partnerships. So Aquarius, if this resonated with you at all, please drop a comment below. Let me know the evolutions that you are excited for, and make sure you check out the other signs to get the best and most full encompassed horoscope possible for May. Thank you so much, Aquarius. Hello, Pisces. We have finally reached the end of the Zodiac, but we saved the best for last, right? Shh, don't tell the other ones. Anyway, let's get to it. So May 1st, we have a whole concoction going on in the sky. We have Mercury in retrograde conjunct the sun, and we also have Pluto in retrograde. What does all of this mean? Well, Mercury in retrograde means that Mercury appears to be moving backwards in orbit from Earth's perspective, and this is due to the speeds of the orbits when they pass each other. It is just an illusion, but in astrological terms, a retrograde encourages and enforces miscommunications, time delays, technological issues, and people from your past coming back into your life. Now, Mercury is the planet of intellect and the mind. It is conjunct the sun, which means they're at the same place in the sky at this time. So this is really amplifying this Mercury retrograde effect. This is all going to be happening in your third house of communication and friendships. So right now, things may be getting a little confusing with our inner circle. Maybe we typically melt together like glue and we're holding things together. Now all of a sudden things maybe kind of feel like they're falling apart. I would say please do not prematurely judge anyone. Do not judge your chemistry during this time with your friends. This is a totally natural occurrence during Mercury retrograde, and also it's totally okay to have ups and downs through your relationships in general. So maybe if you are trying to communicate and you feel like people are not hearing you, maybe that subject really just needs to be put on hold for now. And I know Pisces, you are such an empathetic sign. You are so connected to those that you love. It can be difficult to do that. So this is an excellent lesson for you to really tap into that rational ability and to connect that with your emotions and say, you know what, we're going to table this. And just because it's an issue, it doesn't define my entire relationship with someone. So we're able to just put it on hold for now. We are not escaping the situation. We are not running away from the situation. We are just not letting it completely consume us and define us. Mercury retrograde is really an excellent time to reevaluate how far you have come in your life. And when these situations occur, these are tests of your evolution, of your higher self. How can you better respond to these situations? How can you better navigate these situations without letting them escalate, without letting them take over your life? Now, Mercury in retrograde is going to be happening until May 14th. So after May 14th, you are in the clear to really come back to these conversations, come back to these issues, and really sit down and try to actually find a solution. Just make sure, and this is a big lesson for you Pisces, because I know we have some trouble with escapism, return to these issues. We are just tabling them temporarily, but come back to them. You are going to be so proud of yourself when you are able to navigate this situation with this level of maturity and really get to the bottom of it. And there are no promises that a compromise can be found. Maybe those miscommunications during that retrograde are really signaling deeper issues that are happening. But we have really taken the time to digest this information and to make our decision on our boundaries going forward. So that is that Mercury retrograde energy. But just you wait, because we also have another retrograde happening May 1st. It is Pluto, and it is happening in your 12th house. So Pluto is the planet of death and transformation. Now, as we talked about, a retrograde typically kind of shakes things up and creates a distance. Well, when Pluto is in retrograde, this actually brings a little more of a positive effect to the planet, because that planet has a natural destructiveness to it. So we're going to be seeing some really positive transformations during this Pluto retrograde. This is going to be happening in your 12th house of self-undoing, of karma, of that deep interconnection and that life purpose. So this Pluto retrograde, means we're going to have huge transformations in our spiritual self and the way that we are relating to reality. Now, Pisces, they are super comfortable in their dream world. They're super comfortable in this box of endlessness, if you will. There is a sense of trapping themselves in the material realm that feels claustrophobic. So they like to really put those rose-colored glasses on and experience life for how they want it to be. This transformation with this Pluto retrograde, we are going to be aligning that self with the material realm. You do not have to sacrifice your dream world. You do not have to sacrifice those rose-colored glasses in order to incorporate it into the material realm, into your everyday life and your existence here and the way other people relate to you. Now, May 5th, we have a lunar eclipse in Scorpio. That is going to be happening in your 9th house. So the 9th house is one of higher learning and a spiritual wisdom. That lunar eclipse in Scorpio is really going to be bringing things to the surface that have been blocking us from that next spiritual evolution, especially because we have that Pluto retrograde in that house of karma, in that house of self-undoing, as well as a lunar eclipse in the 9th house of a higher wisdom. This is a perfect alignment to be reaching out to our mentors, to be reaching out to our spirit guides, while also going into the source inside of ourselves and really connecting this information together. This is going to be our lifeline going forward into the next chapter of our lives, to keep us grounded. So this is a very exciting time, but do not forget, with great spiritual transformations come ego deaths. So there is pain involved. Do not identify with these intrusive thoughts. Do not identify with this ego death. I know, Pisces, when you feel things, it completely takes over your entire body. It becomes a physical sensation. Let this stuff run through you. Do what you need to do to get through that phase. Even if you need to go sit by some water, if you need to go take a long bath, if you need to go call a friend, if you need to journal, if you need whatever it is, do what you need to do to release those energies. They are totally okay to be feeling those things. I know it can be overwhelming, but you cannot escape them. You need to be present with yourself through them, but do what you need to do to get through them. Because once you feel your feelings, you are able to release them. You do not have to keep getting stuck in these karmic cycles. When you run from your feelings and your problems, they will find a way to come and get you. So this cycle is all about release, all about renewing, and all about evolving our spiritual self. So May 7th, Venus is going to be entering Cancer in your 5th house. So the 5th house is the house of creativity and self-expression. Cancer is a very nurturing and empathetic sign, and Venus is love and relationships. So here we can find a perfect alignment for you to be nurturing these new creative outlets for yourself. Especially Pisces, you are our dreamers, you are our imaginations of the Zodiac. It is time to connect that imagination into the physical realm with your creativity. Have you always wanted to paint? Have you always wanted to draw? Do you like singing? What new creative hobbies do you want to pick up? And really, don't be ashamed of where you're starting. If you are at your beginning, it is never going to get better if you just put yourself down. You need to accept your progress and you need to nurture your progress. It's one thing to acknowledge what's not working and what is so you can learn. It's another thing to put yourself down and just run away from yourself. This is a great time to really stay committed to this new growth and nurturing it. And I promise you, Venus is going to be lasting 20 days. If you really stick with this energy, with this creativity for those next 20 days, after that, it is going to be easy breezy and your connection to this creativity is going to flourish. Those 20 days can easily turn into 2 months, can easily turn into 2 years, and that progress is going to blow you away at how much you're really capable of creatively. Then May 16th, we have Jupiter entering Taurus in your 3rd house, which is going to rule over communication and friendships. So Jupiter moves signs every 12 to 20 years, and Taurus is a fixed sign. Taurus is all about experiencing the material realm through the senses and really connecting in that organic fashion. So here, Jupiter is also the planet of good luck. So here we have a really lovely setup for a powerful and strong lasting relationships in our friendships. With our friend group, with our communication, we are sticking with it in the long haul. This is an encouragement of loyalty that it will pay off if you really stay true to your friends and you stay valid. This is all going to pay off in the long run. These are potentially friends for life at this moment in your life. Or if you are with some friends and they are just really kind of rocking the boat, they are not along this journey with you, maybe it is time to start fresh and kind of empty your cup and wait for it to refill. The universe is here with that good luck and that good fortune of bringing people who are in proper alignment with you to you. And finally, we have May 20th, Mars is going to be entering Leo in the 6th house. So the 6th house is all about daily habits and routine. Leo is all about creativity and self-expression, and Mars is all about physical energy. So our habits and our daily routine is about to get a lot more fun due to the Leo expression. There are certain ways where maybe you are kind of just going through life on autopilot. Mars and Leo screams no more. This is your time to shine in every moment of existence. You don't have to wait for the biggest moment to celebrate, to get all dressed up. Even if you have nowhere to go, you deserve to wear your nicest clothes. You don't have to save these good things for a special occasion. Every moment is precious. Every moment to be alive is a moment to celebrate. So this Mars and Leo is encouraging you to find that beauty in that mundane existence. There is a lot of poetry in the moment, in between moments, and Pisces, you are the sign to catch those moments and even write them down, turn them into songs, maybe even channel that into that new creative skill that you picked up earlier this month. So thank you so much, Pisces, for listening. Make sure you drop a couple comments below. Let me know what creative skills you are interested in learning. What are some tips for committing to those things? And how are you going to really channel that spiritual energy out into your routine? Make sure you check out the other signs in the video to get the most well-rounded horoscope possible. And thank you guys so much for tuning in, Pisces. So this concludes our May 2023 predictions for the entire zodiac. Once again, make sure you check out every single sign, the rising, the sun, the moon. If you're more advanced, you can also check out your Mercury, Venus, and Mars signs for the most conclusive horoscope possible. It is such a pleasure to be your spiritual guide. I am Elfie. Make sure you guys subscribe. Leave some comments below. Let us know what types of videos you would like to see in the future. We are going to be covering so much astrology, so much tarot. I hope to just be a guide of information, of insight, and connection for you guys. Thank you so much, Your Tango, for hosting us. And you guys have a great month of May.